Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down 10 players that you need to draft in 2025 fantasy football. We're going to be going in depth through each and every single player, and by the end of today's video, you guys will have a great idea why you are going to want to be targeting these 10 players in all of your 2025 fantasy football drafts. But before we could get into things, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure you leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. So without further ado, let's get into my 10 players that you need to draft in 2025 fantasy football. We begin with the first player that you need to draft in 2025 fantasy football, and that is going to be Malik Nabers, wide receiver of the New York Football Giants, currently coming off the board on Sleeper at pick number 8 as the wide receiver number 5. Now, Malik Nabers in his rookie year, despite the fact that Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and the Italian stallion Tommy DeVito were throwing this guy the football, he was able to finish as the wide receiver 6 on the season in PPR and the wide receiver 7 in PPR points per game. He played in 15 games and had 11.3 targets per game, 170 targets, number 2 a wide receiver. He averaged 7.3 receptions per game, 109 receptions, number 3 at wide receiver. 1,204 receiving yards, 80.3 per game, number 7 at wide receiver, and 7 total touchdowns at a 6.1% rate, 20th at wide receiver. All while having absolutely bottom of the barrel quarterback play. In terms of efficiency, he was 46.6% dominator rating first, meaning that he is basically the entire New York Football Giants offense. Now, I get they have Tyrone Tracy. They drafted I'm a Scat Man, Cam Scatabo. They have Wan'Dale Robinson. They have these other pieces, but Malik Nabers is the focal point in this offense. And again, despite the fact that the ball was wobbling in the air, coming to Malik Nabers, the fact that there was a lot of underthrows, there were even somehow some overthrows on Malik Nabers where the guy is wide open and could easily be scoring a lot more fantasy points, he was still able to finish so highly at wide receiver as a rookie. Now, I'm not going to sit here and put the crown on Mr. Unlimited's head, Russell Wilson, like he's Biggie Smalls, and tell you that Russell Wilson is going to save the Giants franchise. Russell Wilson is going to turn this franchise around, and now the Giants are going to be a great team this season. I'm not going to say that, but this is going to be a significantly better quarterback situation when you compare this year to last year. Even if they're losing so much, they want to pivot to Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is a huge step up compared to the quarterback production that we got last year. Malik Nabers is an elite wide receiver at the NFL level. This guy has the upside to be the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. I don't just think that Malik Nabers had a fluke, a fugazi season in his rookie year. I think he's going to put up even better numbers with better quarterback play. And to me, anytime you can get Malik Nabers in the middle to the end of the first round, I'm gonna be all over that. Next up, we move to Achane. Devon 2 Chains, running back of the Miami Dolphins, Sleeper ADP pick 15. So he is the 3rd pick in the 2nd round, currently on Sleeper as the running back number 7. Now, I believe that Achane is a shoo-in to be a top 5 running back. This is a guy that was the running back 5 last season in PPR and 6 in PPR points per game, while Tua Tagovailoa missed a gazillion games. When Tua Tagovailoa was healthy, Achane was a literal, you didn't even have to think about it. You just knew he was a stone cold lock to finish inside the top 5, the top 3, and maybe even be the running back 1 in any current game. Now, obviously, Tua Tagovailoa isn't the poster boy of health, right? When you think of Tua Tagovailoa, the first thing that comes to your head probably isn't, wow, this is a guy that is a guaranteed to play 17 games, right? But they also ended up bringing in better talent into the quarterback room. No longer, if Tua Tagovailoa goes down, do you have to deal with a bunch of bums like Skylar Thompson, right? I understand Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter, isn't amazing, and I also do not think that Quinn Ewers is the next franchise guy for the Miami Dolphins, but it is a step up compared to what we saw last season. And we know that Magic Mike McDaniels loves to run the ball. Mike McDaniel loves running the rock. He was the run game coordinator in San Francisco, making that offense move silky, move like butter through butter, move like a hot knife through some butter, right? Devon Achane has a better offensive line this year. I understand it's not going to be the best offensive line in the NFL, far from it, but he had a 30.4 run block rating last season, 31st. It's bound to get better. Last year, again, despite the fact that Tua missed a lot of time, we saw Devon Achane put up great numbers. 203 carries, only 11.9 per game. He was 20th in terms of rushing yards, but his biggest boost for fantasy in a game where most leagues are half PPR or full PPR, you get a humongous boost by his pass catching ability. Second in targets with 87. First in receptions with 78. He had 592 receiving yards, first, and 12 total touchdowns, number 8 at running back. Again, without Tua in a lot of these games. With Tua healthy, Devon Achane's upside is the running back one. Just like how I believe Malik Nabers could be the wide receiver one, I strongly believe Devon Achane, Devon Two Chains, has the upside to be the running back number one. The Dolphins offense was completely limp dick last season, and as a Dolphins fan, I don't really have much hope that this team's going to magically turn it around and end up being some crazy playoff contender. Maybe they make it into the wild card just to get their ass whooped by the Bills or the Chiefs or something. But I do know in fantasy football, you don't need to have guys on necessarily the best teams. The Dolphins want to run the ball. Devon Achane's the clear head honcho on the team, and Tua loves to check the ball down to Mr. Achane, so I feel very confident in him smashing yet again. And running back 7 feels very disrespectful for me, considering I have him ranked inside of the top 5. Next up, we move to Chase Brown, running back of the Cincinnati Bengals. Sleeper ADP pick 33, meaning he is the 9th pick inside the 3rd round in a 12-team league as the running back number 13. Now, Chase Brown was a guy that I talked up last year. I gave him a bit of the Sukala Mink special. They have no Joe Mixon. Chase Brown is going to get inserted into there. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. A lot of people are saying Chase Brown's going to be great, and I was saying it, and it ended up working. Chase Brown was a absolute steal where he was going in fantasy football drafts. And this is a team that didn't bring in any competition, in my opinion, for Chase Brown, right? It's not like they brought in some other running back, or maybe even like an Unk running back, right? Like if Nick Chubb appeared on the Cincinnati Bengals, knock on wood, we hope that doesn't happen. If he did, then that would really throw a wrench into things, in my opinion. But this is a backfield that has Chase Brown, Zach Moss, Samaje P. Ryan, and Taj Brooks, right? Not a bunch of guys that you would expect to leapfrog, to fucking jump up like Mario hitting one of those blocks to grab a mushroom, right? Chase Brown is a staple part of this offense. I get they have Jamar Chase. I get they have T. Higgins. I get that they got the gritty man, Mike Gesicki. I get they got Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow, and run might not necessarily be the game plan all the time, especially when your defense sucks as much cock as Mia Malkova. But frankly, Chase Brown is going to get the ball a lot. This is a guy that can not only run in between the tackles, outside tackles, he can catch passes. He was 16th in carries, 17th in rushing yards, 6th in targets with 65, 5th in receptions with 54. He was 13th in receiving yards, and he scored 11 total touchdowns at a 3.9% rate, 12th at running back. Now, I genuinely do not believe that Chase Brown is this freak talent, this insane talent that you can't get your hands off, right? The second coming of whatever great running back you want to bring up. But in fantasy football, opportunity is key. Chase Brown is levels, like the Avicii song, ahead of the running backs on his team. He is on a Bengals team that's got to put up points, and he's got a quarterback in Joe Burrow who is comfortable dumping him off the ball. Do I love Zach Taylor? Fuck no, baby. But I do really believe that Chase Brown is in a great position to succeed. And inside the third round, I think he should be going in the second round. So to me, he is a no-brainer must-draft candidate. Next up, we move to DK Metcalf. Now, if you've been someone that's been subscribed for years, I appreciate you. Or maybe you're someone that just hit subscribe today. I really appreciate you. But if you're one of those guys or gals that have been watching for a couple of years, you would know that I'm a DK Metcalf hater. Every single year, I come up here like King Kong going up the goddamn Empire State Building, and instead of pumping my chest, I scream out there and say DK Metcalf is an absolute waste of a pick. I know that the guy's ripped up. I know the guy runs fast as fuck. I know that you want to draft DK Metcalf because he seems like a cool guy. He looks fast. You watch the highlight tape and your eyes start ejaculating. But what I've been saying for years is that if you draft DK Metcalf, he's going to have you feeling like a puppet because his hand is going to be shoved directly up your behind, right? And for years, I was right? They've got Tyler Lockett. They bring in Jackson Smith and the Jigba. It's a loaded offense in Seattle, and I don't really trust Geno. Russell Wilson, not necessarily, the cat caboodle or whatever the fuck that saying is, right? The kitten caboodle, maybe. I don't know, but he's covered off the board right now in the 5th round, pick 51, wide receiver 24. I get that the quarterback situation is unknown in Pittsburgh right now, but we all know what the ultimate solution is here. We know that in the next couple, whether it's days or maybe it takes another month or two, we know that the solution to the equation is going to end with Mr. Discount Double Check, Aaron Rodgers, as the starting quarterback of this team. Now, if it's just Will Howard or if they bring in some other schlub to be the starting quarterback, then, I'll take this take, put it inside, crumple it up like some paper, throw it into the garbage can, Stephen Curry, Kobe Bryant, right? We're going to get rid of it. But as of right now, my belief is that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback. Now, is Aaron Rodgers the same guy he was a couple years ago in Green Bay? No, but he wasn't as bad as people kind of think he was last season. Now, DK Metcalf was on the struggle bus. He was a big, fat bust. Wide receiver 32 in PPR, 33 in PPR points per game. But he had 108 targets, 7.2 per game, 66 receptions, 4.4 per game. He averaged 66.1 receiving yards per game, almost 1,000 receiving yards, 22nd at wide receiver, 5 total touchdowns, 40th. But he ranked 10th in explosive rating, 16th in yards per reception, 24th in yards per target. This is a team that got rid of George Pickens and shipped him off to Jerry's World in Dallas with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb, right? I don't, at wide receiver 24, need Metcalf to pay off as this top 5 option. You don't need that when you draft him inside of the 5th round. Would that be great? Of course. Is that what I'm hoping for? If I click the draft button or if I throw the sticker onto the board, of course, that's what I want. That's what I want, right? But that's not necessarily what needs to happen. As long as he finishes inside the top 18, you made a great pick. You know the upside is there. You know the skill is there. He just finally needs a team, a quarterback to fully unlock him. They gave him the hefty bag, right? They gave him the big bag. They gave him the crazy lottery check, fucking paycheck thing, the check that they give you when you win the lottery. So I'm hoping that DK Metcalf ends up paying off. And at his price right now, to me, it's simply an offer that I can't refuse. But before we get on into the next couple of players, because we still have to do players 5 through 10 that you need to draft in 2025 fantasy football, I would like to give you guys a quick word from our friends and our partner over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a great offer for you guys today. If you sign up using promo code Notorious or by clicking on the link in the video description, you will get a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000 in bonus cash, plus a new customer gimme pick, which is going to be Jalen Brunson, higher than half of a total point tonight. If you are watching this video not when this game is going on or while the game is going on, if you sign up using promo code Notorious, you will get a different player higher than half of a total point. Underdog is a great place to play Pick'em. It is also a great place to draft for fantasy football. The newest Best Ball Mania is live. 15 million in total prizes, 2 million to first place, 1 million to second place, $25 to enter, 100,000 to the regular season winner. Make sure you guys check that out. Promo code Notorious on Underdog or by clicking on the link in the video description. And we are back at number 5. James Conner, running back of the Arizona Cardinals. Sleeper ADP pick 54, so he is currently being picked at the 5.6, the 6th pick in the 5th round, as the running back number 19, which is basically the area that I have him ranked. Now, why do I believe that James Conner is such a good pick when I was completely off the wagon last season? And that is because despite the fact that James Conner is 1 year older, right, and people start to worry, this is a guy that is inevitable, like death and taxes, like Thanos, right? James Conner, despite the fact that we always kind of want to just get off the boat, right? Jump ship, get off the wagon before it crashes, don't board the Titanic, things like that, right? James Conner continues to put up numbers year in and year out. The Arizona Cardinals, I thought last year, right, they're going to go ahead and they make a pick in the draft and they draft Trey Freddie Benson. And I'm like, you know what? That might end up being the nail in the coffin of what is James Conner in 2024 fantasy football. I was off of him and I was completely wrong. And if you look at the backfield right now with James Conner, Trey Benson, Amari DiMarcado, and Jets legend Michael Carter, you will come to the conclusion that James Conner is still going to be the guy in the backfield. Could they eventually hand the key to Trey Benson? Maybe, but that's a maybe. It's not a guaranteed yes, and I don't think that that's a guarantee. It's far from a guarantee this season. I think James Conner is going to operate as the running back 1 on the team. And despite the trials and tribulations of the Arizona Cardinals offense, despite the fact that this wasn't a silky smooth offense, this wasn't an offense, this offense was a fucking letdown in my opinion last year, James Conner was still able to be the running back 11 in PPR, running back 15 in PPR points per game. He's going to finish more than likely anywhere from running back, in my opinion, 10 to 18. He feels like a super safe condom wrap around your team as long as he stays healthy. Knock on wood, we don't root for injuries. Again, running back 15 PPR points per game, running back 11 in PPR last season. What makes you think he can't put up similar numbers to last season? And you know that the upside with James Conner is high. You know that this is a guy that can catch passes as well. He had 236 carries, 14th at running back in 16 games. He had over 1,000 rushing yards, 11th at running back. He was 11th in targets with 55, 10th in receptions with 47. He had 414 receiving yards, 6th at running back, and 9 total touchdowns, 14th at running back. And if you think, you know what, Nick, the stats are just loaded because of the offense, this, that, and the other thing, you shouldn't think that because the offense wasn't really amazing last year. Unk still got it. 11th in yards per touch, 1st in juke rate, 5th in explosive rating, 6th in yards created per touch, and 20th in true yards per carry. If the team continues to rock with him as the bell cow back on the team, if you're going wide receiver early, you're hammering the wide receiver button, or maybe you just draft one running back in the 1st round, you say, you know what, I'm going to hammer time wide receiver. I'm going to get that elite quarterback. I might get Brock Bowers or Trey McBride or George Kittle, right? Then you come back in the 5th round, your RB 1 or 2 is James Conner. Again, do I want James Conner to be my running back 1 on every team? Of course not. But he is certainly a great running back too. And if you go super heavy on running back, which I honestly don't suggest drafting like 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, James Conner would also be a great flex if that is the way that you're thinking. Next up, we move to RJ Harvey, running back of the Denver Broncos, sleeper ADP pick 69. Very nice. I like running back 23 coming off the board inside of the 6th round. Now, if you don't know who RJ Harvey is, he was the 60th overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft, meaning he has 2nd round NFL draft capital. Last season at UCF, he played in 12 games at 23 years old. He had 232 carries for 1,577 yards, which is 6.8 yards per carry, and 22 touchdowns, 20 receptions on 267 yards for 3 touchdowns. So he scored 22, 23, 24, 25 total touchdowns last season. He had over 1,700 all-purpose yards. Now, I'm not going to pretend that this guy's guaranteed to be the clear pass-catching back on the Denver Broncos, but I do think that is very possible. Again, situation is very important in fantasy football, and we're not talking about Mike, right? We are talking about opportunity at the running back position. RJ Harvey is competing with Tyler Beatty, Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime. And look, I actually think Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime have enough skill to wrung out, they're decent, right? But it's not like they blew some crazy draft capital to draft Audric Estime or Jaleel McLaughlin, right? Audric Estime was Not a very high pick, right? 5th round draft pick in 2024, pick 147. We saw Jaleel McLaughlin not even get drafted in 2023, right? And RJ Harvey was a 2nd round pick this year. The team likes him for a reason. We saw Bo Nix play super well in his rookie year. And while I foolishly invested in Javonte Williams last season, because I didn't even love Javonte Williams, I was all about the opportunity, the situation. I don't think that I think RJ Harvey is better than Javonte Williams. I think he will be able to firmly grasp the running back 1 role on the team. Now, could it take some time? Potentially, right? But it's a 6th round pick. It's, as of right now, when you're drafting RJ Harvey, you don't necessarily even need to start him in week 1. You could pick up some other unks later on in the draft to start in the early weeks of the season. But there's a good chance that he is the guy in week 1. Sean Payton's a guy that is able to generate great running backs in fantasy football. Again, last year, you throw that out of the equation, it looks great for Sean Payton. Again, this is an offense you want to be attached to, and I believe this is an offense that will be able to run the ball with RJ Harvey, which is something that they really struggled at doing last season. Speaking of unks, we've got another unk. And I guess RJ Harvey wasn't an unk, but we were talking about the old heads, right? James Conner. We got Travis Kelce, tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs. Sleeper ADP pick 79 at the 7.7, tight end number 6. Now, I get why some people might fade Travis Kelce, right? They drafted him last season inside the 1st round. And if you did that, or even if you got him in the 2nd round, thinking you got a steal, he robbed you blind, right? He took your lunch money. Travis Kelce wasn't what you drafted him to be. Now, was he completely terrible? No, he was the tight end 5 in PPR and the tight end 6 in points per game. But some people don't like drafting players that burnt them in the previous season. He played in 16 games. He was 3rd in targets, 3rd in receptions, 5th in receiving yards. He had 3 total touchdowns, 19th at tight end. Now, when you get him at the tight end 6, and if he finishes as, say, the tight end 3, you are very, 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 very happy with that selection. Now, the fact that you drafted him as the tight end 1 last year in the 1st or 2nd round, and he was the tight end 5, you felt an immense sense of disappointment. So getting him at this discount in the 7th round, where you don't have to pull the trigger on Brock Bowers. I'm not saying that Brock Bowers or George Kittle or Trey McBride are bad picks, but you get to wait. You get a solid discount on Kelce. He was 12th in target accuracy, 7th in yards per team pass attempt, and 7th in expected points added. Travis Kelce isn't, we talked about Rodgers earlier. He's not the same guy he was a couple years ago. Neither is Travis Kelce. But Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is Andy Reid. So even if this ends up going tits up, even if Travis Kelce doesn't work out, I want to take that risk in the 7th round because I believe that the payment potentially could be a lump sum payment, meaning that this could be the tight end 1 season for Travis Kelce. It easily could be. This is a guy that is a target hog with an elite quarterback on an elite offense. Do not overthink Travis Kelce. At number 8, we move to Stefon Diggs, wide receiver of the New England Patriots. Sleeper ADP pick 90. He is the 6th pick in the 8th round. Wide receiver number 44. Now, Diggs has already practiced in on-field work, in uniform, and without a brace on his right knee. Now, I get he tore his ACL in week 8, missing the final 9 games of the season. In the past, that'd be very scary coming off the ACL, but this isn't just even 10 years ago, right? This isn't 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where the ACL could potentially be the kiss of death. That's not what this is. Now, could he start slow because of that? 100%. But he's coming off the board as the wide receiver 44. He's probably not even going to be in your lineup week 1 if he's good to go. Last year, he's the wide receiver 64, like the Nintendo, but he was wide receiver 18 in PPR points per game in Houston. He had 64 targets, 8 per game, 47 receptions, 5.9 per game, 496 receiving yards, 62 per game, and he scored 4 total touchdowns at an 8% rate. He was 8th in route win rate and 18th in true catch rate. Now, I get going from CJ Stroud to Drake May, that's definitely a fall off. There are a lot of people that like to get down on their knees and basically fucking slobber all over the metaphorical cock of Drake May. Am I going to sit here and do that? No. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is a situation that is very clearly leading to a path for Diggs to be the wide receiver 1. Let's look at the Patriots depth chart. You got Stefon Diggs. Then you got guys like DeMario Douglas, DeMario time, Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, Mac Hollins, Dolphins legend, and Jalen Polk. Right? Are we seeing a lot of competition? Are we seeing this crazy wide receiver room where Diggs is going to have to fight tooth and nail to get targets? It's not like he's on the Texans where they have Nico Collins and Tank Dell, right, last season, and Diggs, and that's the reason why I avoided Diggs. Hey, they've got these other guys, right? This is a Patriots team that is devoid of talent at the wide receiver position. Stefon Diggs has a clear path to being the wide receiver 1. Now, if we get to late August and they're like, oh, even though we were super positive about Diggs in May, oh, guess what? Diggs probably gonna miss the first 6 games. It's like, okay, back up the truck, back up, beep, 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 get the fuck out of there, right? But as of right now, I do really feel comfortable drafting him at that spot, and I've been loading up drafting him on Underdog. Next up, we move to number 9, which is going to be Evan Engram, tight end of the Denver Broncos. Sleeper ADP pick 110, so he's going in the 10th round as the tight end number 10. He was the tight end 32 last year in PPR, which ain't good. That's not good at all, right? I didn't need to tell you that, but it was the tight end 12 in points per game. 9 games played, 4 games missed with a hamstring strain early in the season, missed the final 4 games with a shoulder injury. Trevor Lawrence wasn't necessarily the most healthy guy last season, and it didn't work for Evan Engram, right? He was really good the season prior, not so hot last season, right? And anyone who had him knew that. But 7.1 targets per game, 5.2 receptions per game, 40.6 receiving yards per game. Sure, he only scored 1 touchdown, but you never know. You could just luck box. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Evan Engram scored 8 this year on Denver. 10th in target separation, 10th in yards per team pass attempt. Evan Engram, to me, is he like a top 5 tight end in the NFL in terms of talent? No. But on a Denver Broncos team that has Cortland Sutton, and then, they have Marvin Mims. They have some other receivers, but it's really Cortland Sutton and then the other crew, right? And in the middle of that gap between the other crew, to me, is Evan Engram. Again, he's another year older, but if you're in the 10th round taking a dart shot at a guy like Evan Engram, I think when you're attached to Bo Nix, when you have Sean Payton there, to me, I just think it's going to work. Now, some people who have never watched my videos will be like, damn, this Nick guy really loves Sean Payton, all right, or something like that, but I do think he's a good coach, and again, I believe in Bo Nix. I think that while the Denver production at tight end has been dog shit over the last couple of years, is because they haven't had a guy like Evan Engram on that team. Final player is going to be Justin Fields, quarterback of the New York Jumbo Jets. Sleeper ADP, pick 115 in the 10th round, quarterback 16. Now, there's going to be some people that just turn off the video right now. They say, Nick, I'm not drafting Bustin Fields. Nick, I'm not drafting Justin Fields. Nick, you are a fool for drafting Justin Fields. Quarterback 37 in points per game last season. He had 6 starts last year. He threw 16.1 times per game, 110 passing yards per game, 5 passing touchdowns and 1 interception. But this is why you draft him. 62 carries, 13th for 289 rushing yards, 14th, and 5 touchdowns, 7th. 6 starts, 5 rushing touchdowns, 10 touchdowns total to 1 interception. Now, he doesn't even qualify for any of the nice efficiency stats that we like to throw out for some other players. So we're just going to read off some of his game log, right? Week 1 up against the Falcons, he's quarterback 19, not good. Then the quarterback 24. But then in week 3, we start to see him spark up a little bit, play a little bit better, get a little bit looser, right? He rushes in a touchdown, he throws a touchdown, he throws a pick, but he's the quarterback 12. Then the week after that, quarterback number 1 up against the Colts, then the quarterback 16, and then the quarterback 7. So in a 4-game stretch, once he got used to things, once he started percolating, he was a top 12 quarterback in 3 of 4 games. And he's coming off the board as the quarterback 16. Now, the Jets, everyone doesn't want to draft the Jets, right? When you think of drafting Jets players, you think about the times where you went for the slam dunk pick. You thought it was easy. You thought it was simple. 1 + 2 = 3. The third letter of the alphabet is C, right? You thought you knew everything. E = MC², and you draft Justin Fields, or you draft a Jets player, and you get bent over a table. But as the quarterback 16 off the board, if you're punting the quarterback position and you take another quarterback late and you pair him with Justin Fields, this is a guy that's going to have a bunch of games inside the top 12 and has quarterback 3, quarterback 1 ceiling in games because of his rushing upside. To me, in 2 quarterback drafts, I am eyeing Justin Fields heavily in super flex drafts because this is a guy that paired with your other quarterback could be putting up 25 plus points in any given game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be like some Jets super believer. And outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, I don't think this team has a whole lot of talent, but Justin Fields can do a lot with a little due to his legs. So again, do I think that Justin Fields is the answer for the Jets? No, but I do think he's going to be good in fantasy because, again, rushing in fantasy is just one of the skeleton keys to success for fantasy football. It just really is. Again, if you're in a 6-point per passing touchdown league, people are like, oh, that really, evens the gap. And it kind of does. But you still only need to rush 10 yards to get a point compared to throwing 25 yards to get a point. So I think Justin Fields is going to surprise a whole lot of people this season. And if he keeps coming off the board at quarterback 16, I'm going to have a whole lot of Justin Fields this season, but maybe I won't because all my asshole friends that I play fantasy football with watch these videos and then they draft Justin Fields and then they get in my face. They say, haha, Nick, you idiot. You told me to draft him and I drafted him. And then they end up, having a great season out of Justin Fields. So I love you guys more than you will ever know. Make sure you guys do check out Underdog, promo code Notorious, or click on the link in the video description. I hope you guys all have a great one. Shout out to Wayne Gretzky. Check out one of the videos on your screen if you haven't seen it already. And in the comment section, yesterday was my birthday, so if you want to say happy birthday, say it. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. I love you guys all, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. You guys are the reason why I'm able to do these videos, so thank you so much. Have a great one, as always. Good boy!